feel like it.
He should be in some danger. What?
Big, beautiful humanity, expression of life, creation.
Day to get things done. Anyone else do this? You dress to get things done, button down, tucked in. Come on, get shit done. Okay.
How's that for an intro? So, I'm going to do a little bit of a vlog this week. Just kind of track what I'm up to. It's Tuesday. I had such a great day yesterday. I caught up with an old friend who's unfortunately going through a lot. I finished that book, Love Light Farms, which is really fun. I needed that. I spent the weekend reading that book. It was great. And then I sent out a newsletter. It was productive. And today it's complete opposite. I'm I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm tender, kind of sad, and I can't really pinpoint why. Just I don't know. And then also my hands are hurting a lot this morning, right in here between the knuckles, and also, what am I doing? I'm gonna hold this right there, don't fall, it's hot tea. And then right here hurts so much, and my hands, I'm recovering from tendinitis that I've had for 2.5 months now, and it's much better. It's mostly moved into being a dull ache, but every once in a while, a sharp pains come back, and it's so frustrating, and it feels I can't even pinpoint what I did yesterday that aggravated my hands this much. I try so hard not to aggravate them, but you also got to live, right? I don't know. I think I kind of smacked my finger this morning, but I don't think that was the main cause. Anyway, it's all kind of blah, but it started before that. I was just feeling blah today, just disheartened. Didn't really want to work out, kind of dragged myself through it. So, gotta get back into the novel, gotta write some scenes. I have assigned myself this morning the task of a very simple light scene, but I just I am dragging, I don't want to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a novel a little bit. I'm going to journal a little bit. I'm going to look at my notes a little bit. And I'm going to let myself creep into the scene. That always seems to help me get into work. But yeah, just kind of having a quiet morning, working at the pace that works for where I'm at, okay?
Consider me astonished. It's actually kind of hot out. Okay, hi, hello. Hello from the floor by the bed, as one does. Yeah, just doing like a midweek check-in. Feeling okay about this week. I know I was kind of like blah last time, but I've been writing, I've been working, I've been doing my bad writing, and then I'm going back and fixing that up, and I'm just sort of feeling better about things. But it's a lot of just like sort of handling shit lately. You know, like gotta check up with the doctor. I wrote that newsletter. Oh, I was gonna share with you, I got a Mother's Day present because Mother's Day is on Sunday, and you guys, I did like really well this year. I don't always do that well. I'm not very good at gifts usually, but look what I got my mom. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at these dudes. I got this from, I assume it's a guy, I don't know, but it's a person on Etsy. I love these dudes. My mom loves little Spirit of the Woods guys. And I just thought that was amazing. So yeah, yay, I'm gonna put that in a box, wrap it up. But yeah, she has a bunch of like solo guys, but these are dudes. Maybe it's me and my mom. Bunch of old spirit men together, linked for eternity. But yeah, I know she'll enjoy that. I don't know if she'll put it in the woods or whatever, but I was like, yeah, I did good. So yay, buy from artists. It's so fun. And the guy who, you know, I bought it from, I gave him a really good review and took a picture and stuff, and he was like, thank you so much, that really helps. Remember, if you buy things from someone, if you watch their movie, if you read their book, you know, write a great review. It really means a lot to people. So that was sort of a nice experience to kind of interact with that guy. Lest you think I live in a beautiful, perfect little world. Look at all this crap. I try to keep that out of the shot usually, but you know, life in storage, so it goes. What was I gonna share with you? Oh, haha. I've gotten a little ways into this, not like super far. I'm trying to read like 2 chapters a day, which sometimes means more reading than other days. I'm on chapter 15 now, which is not that far into it. Mr. Collins is visiting, if that helps. This is so fun. I'm having such a great time. For one thing, it's interesting because, like, you know, I had only really had the experience of like watching the movie, I'm ashamed to say, but it's so nice to get a different perspective on Mr. Darcy and to kind of see like, oh, this is why people love him so much, because you get his interior world in the novel. And, you know, and for one thing, like, he's so socially awkward, and I understand why they didn't put this in the movies, but like, I love how like Mr. Darcy loves listening to Elizabeth talk, so much so that he will just like stand near her and like listen to her talking like a real creep. I'm just like, I love him. Like, there is something endearing in this like guy who can be a total asshole because he is just internally just like dying over her, and it's like, I had no idea, so forgive me my naivete about all this, but it's really fun to like go like, oh, I get it now. And like the amount of times that he calls her dangerous, like, one second, I'm gonna check on this. Okay, here we go. Darcy had never been so bewitched by any woman as he was by her. He really believed that were it not for the inferiority of her connections, he should be in some danger. What? Here again. He began to feel the danger of paying Elizabeth too much attention. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. Anyway, I'm just like having a lot of fun reading this book. It's fun to see what all the fuss is about. So anyway, I'm having a good time. It's turning into a better week than it felt like it was initially. Sometimes I think there's just something to be said about like sticking with it. Stick with it, do the basics of life. You come out the other end. So yeah. Rude. Hey everyone. Cheers. We're at the end of the week. At least the end of the week of this vlog. Yes. You can see I have not one but two mugs going. Why not? Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. I have some thoughts, but first, this book, I just started this novel by Louise Erdrich, The Sentence. I'm like 50 pages in. I mean, I just started it. It's so good already. I have read quite a few books of hers. I love her so much. Of course, like the classic is like Love Medicine, but I have wonderful memories of like blowing off classes in college when I was at NYU and I was living in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and I had a loft bed because the guy who had the room before me was a sculptor and he built this loft bed. So I was up near the ceiling of my room and there was like a snowstorm and I just blew off classes, lectures, and I just sat around and I read Plague of Doves for hours. I love that book. It's so good. But yes, I love Louise Erdrich. And this book is so good already. I'm so excited. I'm going to tell you about it next time, obviously. I kind of just want to spend the weekend reading it. But it's set in, here we go, it's set in 2020 in Minneapolis. Nothing was going on during the year 2020 in Minneapolis, right? So we're gonna have COVID. We're gonna have the murder of George Floyd. We're going to have so much going on in this city, and yet this novel is focused on a haunted bookstore. Louise Erdrich owns Birch Bark Books. I've still never been there. I tried to go once while I was in Minneapolis and it was closed that day. Damn it. But it's focused on a woman who works there who had served a sentence. She was in prison, fell in love with books, and ended up, when she got out of prison, ended up working at this bookstore. Again, it's a novel, but there is a character named Louise who owns the bookstore in the book. It's so great. So it's amazing that it manages to be cute while also carrying all these heavy themes. So I'm really, really interested in how she's going to do it. And I trust that Louise Erdrich will carry us through. She's a master. So I'm very excited. It's so good already. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And other than that, I just wanted to close out with, very casual today, with something that I've had on my mind while I've been kind of like facing the challenges of this novel. And I've had this in my mind for months now, which is just this thought of like, So one thing that my brain does to me is it tells me that when I am struggling, when I act in ways that are awkward and make me feel uncomfortable, when I feel like I could have done things better, like the thoughts we have literally all day long about ourselves. When I'm struggling, my brain tends to tell me that that is a problem with me and it's a failing, right? This is universal stuff. But I want to say in the last year, I know at least, I'm looking at my laptop over here. I wrote to myself about like I think I woke up like thinking this. I was like, oh shit, I'm not the weird, quiet, defensive, broken personality that I think I am. That was created for safety. I wrote about this. I created this false self in order to give like the big self, the real self, the beautiful self, privacy and safety. And of course, this isn't unique to me. It's all of us. All of us do this. We all create these coping mechanisms, these personalities that protect us, that keep us safe, that help us to function however well we function in society. And it's such a good reminder for me to be like, yeah, everything that I think is wrong, everything that I think is awkward, everything that is struggling in me is not me. Like the me that I am dealing with is huge. It's enormous. It is life force itself, and so are you. And you might be like, why is she adding this to this vlog? But I think it's really interesting to try to shift our minds away from being like all of our flaws define us and mean something, right? So like me struggling with my novel, me struggling to find my work ethic again when I'm feeling insecure, all that stuff. That isn't me so much. There's protection mechanisms going on around the big thing. I've spoken on here before about feeling like, oh my God, my novel's big. I didn't realize it was big. Well, it's the same concept, right? I'm big. You're big. There are big, beautiful souls in us, but also big, beautiful humanity, expression of life, creation, continuing expansion. So what if our struggles don't define us? What if our struggles are us weightlifting? Our struggles in our lives, and with our work in particular, our creative work, what if that's us doing our weightlifting? And what if that is us learning how to support our bigness, learning how to support the work that we want to do in the world? Like, I think to myself, this novel is requiring so much of me. It is requiring me to rearrange myself in certain ways. It is requiring me to arrange my life in certain ways around the novel, to sacrifice things. I am being forced to become a bigger person, and the reality is not that we are too weak to do these things, or that we are not up to the challenge. The reality is that, like, we are already big enough for it, but our humanity has to grow in order to like put that work out there, if that makes sense. But I also wrote like other notes to myself, but it was just reminders of like, what brings me back to clarity. And I had been thinking when I was writing about this to myself, I was thinking about what I'm like when I travel and how happy I am and how joyful I am and how filled up I am and how talkative I am with strangers. And in regular life, I'm really not that way. I mean, you might think I'm that way because I'm here on YouTube, but I'm a very private person, very introverted. always have been shy and then figured out ways to try to not appear so shy. But but traveling brings out the bigness of me. Art forces the bigness of me out of myself, whether I like it or not, and it tends to be quite painful. And that pain scares me, but what if it's just weightlifting? What if it's just strength building? What if you're just learning how to be bigger because your art is requiring it, because your vision, your ideas are requiring it of you? And I just think it's helpful to find ways to be like, this struggle doesn't have to be so scary, right? I don't have to be afraid of this. I can welcome this, and it feels so good to face challenges. I have some people in my life that are going through some really huge challenges, and they're making them so much harder by seeing the discomfort of the changes that they're making, by seeing that discomfort as like really scary and bad. And so then what happens is they pile on all these coping mechanisms, whether with addiction, whether with just like bad habits or not taking care of themselves. And it's like if you could just go toward the uncomfortable feeling and find ways to manage it. Like earlier this week with my writing, I have ways to seduce myself into writing. Like I read a book, I kind of, fuck around on Pinterest. Like I start to trick myself gently, kindly into facing the thing that makes me really uncomfortable. And, if you're running from the hard things in your life, it isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of what it takes to move on to the next part of your life, to face the obstacles of your life. And it's a sign of your strength, especially when you face those hard things. Anyway, I'm rambling, but maybe this will be helpful for somebody. I feel like I think about all this stuff so much because I've struggled so much. And I have felt many times like very embarrassed about it, but I think it's helpful when people talk about it. Anyway, that's all. It's kind of a sleepy afternoon. I'm going to edit this and put it up tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you for being here. YouTube kind of freaks me out, so this is another thing that I feel like I'm weightlifting to like learn how to be on here. So thank you for being here. I'm learning how to do it. And honestly, it's a pleasure. I'm really enjoying myself. So thank you again. I just want to read, but I got to do some work. Always want to read more. Tell me what you are reading, what you're enjoying. I'll see you next time. Bye.